This might be my last vlog here in Dubai. Let me tell you why. I always wanted an in-person office, and all of my businesses were remote, but I want to try bringing my team together in one place. Poland is, I think, right now the best country in Europe. Fastest economic growth since COVID, safest, low immigration. It's very entrepreneurial. You know, even if I compare it to Czech Republic, the Poles they have more hustle. Like, for example, our airports, you know, except for Prague, don't really work, you know. A lot of Czechs go to Poland to just take a flight. So that's one example.
What made you realize you wanted to start the office?
One day I did random deep research on the percentage of startups that reached unicorn status, which is $1 billion valuation or more. What percentage of them did that with a fully remote team? And it was like almost zero. So over 99% of startups that reached $1 billion made it with a locked in-person team. And that's a very strong pattern that you don't see every day. So when I realized that, I began thinking, you know, my team is already very locked in, we work every day. How much more focused would we be if we were in a single location? And that's where I got the idea to start an in-person office.
So David, what have you learned during the 12 months of building AI company?
Probably the biggest thing is that you have to build what the market wants. A lot of people create some fancy technology that nobody needs. You have to solve a real problem that people will pay money for. So as Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, says, you should always start with the highest importance work first. So that's what we're gonna do. So I've read a lot of startup focused books and also some like programming books, but the best one I would say probably is 0 to 1 from Peter Thiel. And the main idea is that you want to build a startup that can become a monopoly, right? Something that can be 10x better than anything else, because that's how you actually make profits. If you compete with everybody, then you just undercut each person and nobody makes money.
So man, where are we going right now?
We're going to the Nakheel Mall, and more specifically to The View, which is like a single spot where you can see the entire Palm Jumeirah. Yeah, I just like to, you know, change the scenery a few times a day because it makes you more productive. Especially if you really push to the limits, you know, 60 minutes, 90-minute deep work, then you're kind of exhausted. And if you change environment, maybe go to a cafe or restaurant, you can work even more.
And so what do you hate about Dubai?
Well, obviously the traffic, you know, especially in downtown, in Marina, the really busy spots, traffic is terrible. But also the air quality. This is something people don't realize. Like, for example, today you can barely see into the distance. If the air was perfect, you could see Burj Khalifa right now, but you can't, because the air quality index is like 150 or maybe even 200, and that is very unhealthy. And if you spend even like 1 hour or 2 hours outside, you will feel it the next day and you have a sore throat, and yeah, it's not good.
I stay G'd up, it's the things and the scene and the shit I've been through that made my heart turn cold. I stay G'd up.
A lot of people don't understand that people can like their work. You know, when I say that I work every day and I work 10 plus hours a day, it's not that I'm forcing myself to do it. It's not like I have to do it. It's just like I would hate not working. Like, the worst thing you could do to me right now is to put me on a beach and tell me, David, you have to lay on the beach for 7 days. Like, I would probably die.
Hey David, what do you think about the dating market here in Dubai?
Yeah, it's interesting. I would say there is a lot of beautiful women here, but there is no wives, you know. So if you want to find something long-term, something quality, probably you should look in Central Eastern Europe, not Dubai. At least that's my experience. Because the people who are in a good relationship here always import their women, you know. So like, they were already in a relationship and then they move to Dubai. But here, if you want to meet a girl, you probably have like a week or two from the moment she comes until she's ruined by the city.
Do you think having a girlfriend would help you to scale your business?
Definitely not.
Why is that?
I mean, unless she's like Leila Hormozi, like I don't know how that would help. I mean, you can say, you know, I could outsource all the bullshit, but like, I already have a cleaner, you know, I already can order from restaurants, so
So let's say you are looking for someone as Leila Hormozi.
The way I say it is that I don't talk to any women except for my future wife. So what that means is that the moment I realize a girl is not going to be my wife, I just don't waste any time on her. And I think it's a huge strength because a lot of guys spend multiple hours a week texting women, going on dates, even with girls they don't want to be with long term. It's a huge time waste, and yeah, I think if you can control that, you unlock so much energy and so much time.
Don't know when it started, and I don't know when it ends. I feel so much pressure that I'm gonna get the bends. And I'm rolling and controlling in your vicinity. That's why everybody calls me Mr. Infinity.
What's going on? Why are you not working by the desk?
I mean, we were sitting all day, so it's good to stand up, but there is no standing desk in this Airbnb, so we had to improvise a bit. Microwave by itself was too low, so we found this Monopoly. So now I'm building my own software Monopoly on top of the game of Monopoly.
Riders on the storm. Riders on the storm. Into this house we're born. Into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without.
So another benefit of living in Dubai is that you can meet a lot of people. For example, yesterday I met with one guy who knows me from YouTube, and he's in the New Society actually. And we met in the Armani Hotel, which is insane, right? This is the benefit of having a community, right? When I was in New York last month, I also met a couple of New Society members. So if you're serious about AI and if you want to meet me in person, make sure to join the New Society because I'm traveling all the time, and who knows, maybe I'm in your country next and we could meet up. But regardless where I'm at, the New Society is for those who want to be serious about AI and who want to be on the cutting edge and want to build a business with it. So link below, join now.
So what other sport are you doing apart from paddle?
Okay, so it depends where I'm at. In Czech Republic, I like to do mountain biking nearly every day. That's my favorite sport. When I was younger, I used to do trampoline, but I don't do it as much. But hopefully I do more of it, get back into it. So those are my favorite sports. And football. In Czech Republic, I also play football.
Bitches want it, but she's not Philippe. That's the type that put me in my mood. She know that I'm out, but she come cool for me. She know how to put me in my groove. I know it's a lot that you can learn from me. It's just one thing that you gotta prove. If you gotta walk with just to ride for me, I might need an extra for the two.
Every day I eat steak, at least one, but usually two. And I like to do a lot of salt because, I have this saying that you can see it's not salty enough. Especially in Czech Republic, we always eat soup and a main dish. And when I look at the soup, I always can see that it's not salty enough. So I begin salting heavily even before eating. And steak is just a superfood. Steak and eggs are the two best foods in the world. So I eat as much of them as possible. And I try to get as many calories from steak and eggs in my day.
So David, what is the next step?
So the next big step is really starting an in-person office. Ever since 15, 16 years old, all of my businesses were fully remote. So that is the next big step. Start the office in Warsaw, move my team there and push 10 times harder.
Why do you think most people fail?
I think it comes down to mindset. Because if you label failure as the end, like you launch a business, it didn't work out, and it's the end, and you go back to having a 9-to-5. Like, that's the mindset issue. It's not an issue of failing, right? Because even if you go, like let's say you build your own startup, right? You scale it for 12 months, you're gonna learn so much in those 12 months if you work every single day on it. Even if that company fails, it's not a failure. You've learned infinite amount, and now you can make a much better decision to launch the next thing. So I would say if people fail, it's more about like they label it as a failure, and it's a mindset issue. Because if you keep going and if you never give up, then each failure is just a part of the bigger step. A lot of people would think that moving to Warsaw is like the biggest problem that I'm currently facing, but that's nowhere near the biggest issue. I mean, moving to a different country, if you've never done it, it's hard, but if you've done it multiple times like I have, it's pretty easy. The biggest problem is that in Vechtel, my software company, we've been around like 10k MRR for, half a year. So the revenue is kind of stagnating, or the growth is very slow, right? So, and the reason why growth is very slow is because many factors: churn, finding the ideal target avatar, finding like which features market wants, because we added shit ton of features, we can ship fast, but then a lot of them were not used, so we had to remove them, and that took like a week or 2 weeks. So that is the hardest part, realizing, okay, at what point do we either do a hard pivot, or at what point should I launch maybe another software company, because this one has been, you know, around $10,000 a month for a while, and you know, there is no clear answer. A lot of things in business have a clear answer, you know, work harder or fire the underperformer, but you never know whether you should persevere with a business that is kind of stagnating or growing slowly, or whether you should pivot and launch something new. So that is by far the hardest part, hardest decision I have to make in the next 1 to 3 months.
David, what is one habit that you recently started doing?
I started reading a lot more in the last month, maybe. I think in the last 3 weeks I read more books than in the entire year before that. And the reason is simple, because when you are facing a big issue in your life, in your business, doesn't matter, you want to read the best books on that topic. And if you just read like 3 or 4 books, you're already gonna gain so much knowledge. The best learning habit is actually using GPT-5 Pro. So if you have the top ChatGPT subscriptions, I'm gonna show you. Boom, GPT-5 Pro, right here in the model selector. And this model, if you ask it like, what are the biggest mistakes software startup founders make? It thinks for 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 minutes sometimes, right? Crazy amount of thinking. And what I do is when I'm reading, I'm using GPT-5 Pro to ask questions and to do like active learning. And this is very OP because it allows me to internalize information way more than if I was just reading.
So David, what is the best advice you heard recently?
I would say that for me it is that startup founders and CEOs cannot hesitate. The worst thing you can do as a founder is to hesitate. Oftentimes you're dealt with 2 terrible choices, right? Both option A and option B are very difficult and very ugly. But the worst thing you can do is not decide and kind of, you know, put the problem to the side and try to delay it. That is the worst thing, and it's advice from Ben Horowitz, the founder of Andreessen Horowitz, which is one of the most successful VC investment firms in the world. And yeah, the worst mistake a startup founder can make is to hesitate. So when you have 2 difficult decisions and both of them seem very bad and very ugly, just pick one and move fast. Do not hesitate, do not delay it.